Hello everybody, welcome to 21st Century IAS Academy Delhi Campus C.A.R.E Initiative, Current Affairs through Reverse Engineering. This is Goli Varsha. UNSC seeks humanitarian pauses, corridors in Gaza. Now in prelims perspective, this institution or this grouping and this place is important. Okay, now let us see some basics about UNSC. What is UNSC? It is United Nations Security Council. It was established under Article 23 of the UN Charter. Okay, this is important, and it has 15 members. All right, 5 are permanent members and 10 are non-permanent members. All right, now this 5 is called as P5. Now what are there in P5? UK, US, France, Russia and China. All right, now these 10 members, the 10 non-permanent members, are elected by the United Nations General Assembly for 2-year terms. All right, and the presidency rotates among these 15 members. All right, and the primary responsibility of UNSC is to maintain international peace and security, and it is the only UN organ to issue binding resolutions to member states. All right, and the other point is Unite Aware. Unite Aware is a mobile app for UN peacekeeping forces by India. So these are the basics you have to remember with respect to UNSC. Fine. Now we'll come to the MCQ. Consider the following statements. Okay, how many of the statements given above are correct about United Nations Security Council? It recommends to the General Assembly the appointment of Secretary General. Yes, this is correct. It recommends the admission of new members. This is also correct. It can call on members to apply economic sanctions and other measures involving the use of force to prevent or stop aggression. No, this one it cannot do. So 2 statements are correct. 1 and 2 statements are correct. So only 2 statements are correct. Why is this statement wrong? Because here it is given measures involving the use of force. So this cannot be correct. Okay, it should be not involving the use of force. Fine. Now, with reference to United Nations Credentials Committee, consider the following statements. First of all, what is this United Nations Credentials Committee? It is a committee of United Nations General Assembly, and the main purpose of this Credentials Committee is to report to the Assembly regarding the credentials of bodies' representatives. Fine. It is a committee set up by the UN Security Council and works under its supervision. No, this is wrong, because the Credentials Committee is appointed at the beginning of each regular session of the General Assembly. So this is wrong. When 1 is wrong, D is gone, B is also gone. 3 is common, which means 3 is correct. You don't need to read 3. Now go to the second statement. It traditionally meets in March, June and September every year. No, it will meet in the month of November with the report to be given to UNGA in December. Okay, so this is wrong. So A is the correct answer. War in Myanmar. The junta must hold talks with the rebels and relinquish power. A coordinated offensive by Myanmar's ethnic rebels against the junta in several parts of the country late last month is the clear sign that the coup regime's hands are overstretched. The Three Brotherhood Alliance, a coalition of ethnic minority armed groups, has claimed to have made territorial gains in Myanmar's border with China and dozens of junta forces surrounding. Now, for prelims, these terms are important. Okay, Brotherhood Alliance, terms like these. All right, now we'll get into the MCQ. 3 Brotherhood alliances that have been in news recently are related to an alliance between the insurgent groups in Myanmar. Okay, so they'll pick such terms, and recently in news, what is this, what is that, they keep asking. Fine. So please keep a watch on such terms. Which of the following statements are correct? India had agreed recognition to Bangladesh even before the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971. Yes, this is correct, because the Bangladesh was liberated on December 16th, 1971, and 10 days prior to this one, on December 6th itself, India recognized Bangladesh and it started diplomatic ties with it. And this December 6th is officially celebrated as Maitri Divas. Getting my point? So this is correct. And in March 2021, both India and Bangladesh had decided to celebrate 6th December as Maitri Divas. Yes, so both the statements are correct. Now, why was it given in 2022? It's because 1971 to 2021, it is 50 years of Bangladesh Liberation War. So, it was given in 2022. That's why 5 years, 10 years, 50 years and 100 years events, they're very important for prelims, even in history. Fine? Now, branded generic and the missing ingredient of quality. What is the article saying? The article is saying the government must ensure the quality of medicines produced, procured and supplied. Okay, and you need to be aware of certain terms and certain authorities, some basics. Okay, now you have to be thorough with basics about two things. One is NPPA and second is active pharmaceutical ingredient. Now, what is active pharmaceutical ingredient? It is the most important chemical molecule in a medicine that lends the product the claimed therapeutic effect. Okay, so that is API. Whatever medicine is there, it is working a certain way because of the chemical molecule, one important chemical molecule, and that is called the active pharmaceutical ingredient of that medicine or drug. Okay, so this is about API. Now, what is NPPA? NPPA full form is National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. Now, what is this? It is a regulator for pricing of drugs. Pricing of drugs and to ensure availability and accessibility of medicines at affordable prices. This is the primary function. Okay, and when was it constituted? It was constituted in the year 1997 as an attached office of Department of Pharmaceuticals under Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Okay, so these are some basics, and it was made to fix the prices of controlled bulk drugs and formulations and to enforce price availability of medicines under the DPCO. What is DPCO? Drugs Price Control Order. Okay, so these are some basics you should know. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements. Generic drugs are marketed under a proprietary or approved name. No, non-proprietary. So this is wrong, and the ceiling price of the generic drugs is fixed by the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. We just saw, right? So this is correct. India is the largest producer of generic drugs in the world, yes, and it is known as pharma capital of the world. And pharma capital of India is Hyderabad city. Okay, so these things you have to remember. So only two statements are correct. Which one of the following antimicrobial drugs is suitable for treatment of both tuberculosis and leprosy? Isoniazid, it is only for TB. Okay, P-amino salicylic acid, it is also for TB. Streptomycin, it is also for TB, but due to its toxic side effects, it is being accompanied by some other drugs. Okay, rifampicin, yes, this is correct because it is used for both tuberculosis and leprosy and also meningitis. Okay, so D is correct. Next article. Second anti-piracy patrol in Gulf of Guinea over Navy. In prelims perspective, one, map of Gulf of Guinea is important, and second one, INS Sumedha. Now, what is INS Sumedha? It is a third ship of the indigenously built Sarayu class naval offshore patrol vessels. What is INS? It means Indian Naval Ship Sumedha. Alright? It was built by Goa Shipyard Limited. Okay? And it is part of Indian Navy's Eastern Fleet based in Visakhapatnam. So these are some basics about INS Sumedha. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following. Gulf of Guinea is bordered by how many of the countries listed above? See, Gulf of Guinea has 16 countries, okay, coastal countries. If we go in the alphabetical order or letter order, it will be Angola, Benin, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of Congo, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Gabon, Nigeria, Ghana, Sao Tome and Principe, Togo and Sierra Leone. Okay, so Angola is there, Gabon is there, Nigeria is there, Niger is not there. Okay, why even if you do not know these 16 countries, no, at least you should know one thing. Niger is a landlocked country in western part of Africa. It is not a coastal country. Okay, so this will be ruled out. If you can't remember 16, at least you should know these basics. So 3 are correct. Okay, which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? Baffin Bay, Canada, yes. Gulf of California, USA, no. It is Mexico. But usually if you don't know the map properly, by going by the name you will think this is correct, but no, it is in Mexico. And yeah, so B is correct. Next, India's heft in MSCI EM index. What it means? Now what is MSCI EM index? MSCI is Morgan Stanley Capital International. EM is Emerging Market Index. Okay. India's weightage in the MSCI Emerging Markets Index is tipped to rise to 16.3% from the current 15.88%. Okay, so this is the context. Now we'll get into the MCQ. MSCI EM index, widely followed in global financial markets, primarily focuses on, see, some popular reports or indices, you should know everything about them, but which are in news but not very popular, just you have to know the report and the purpose of the report. Fine. So it is about emerging markets. The name itself is saying no, EM means emerging markets. So B is the answer. In the context of global oil prices, Brent crude oil is frequently referred to in the news. What does this term imply? It is a major classification of crude oil? Yes. It is sourced from the North Sea? Yes. It does not contain sulfur? No, this is wrong. See, it contains 0.37% sulfur and it is ideal for making petrol. Okay, so this is wrong. 1 and 2 is right. So B is right. Next article, carbon concerns. A blueprint for climate finance at COP28. Now what is COP28? It is Conference of Parties 28. And you have to know few basics about COP meetings. I mean the order and some important meetings. Okay. What are those? COP3 1997 was in Kyoto. Okay. Then COP8 2002, it was in New Delhi. COP15 2009, Copenhagen Summit. And COP21 is very famous. It is in Paris. Okay, 2015 in Paris. And COP28 will be in the month of December. It will be in UAE. Okay, United Arab Emirates. Okay. Now, carbon concerns. There is some data that is given. We'll just look into it. Cumulative emissions since 1990. Gigatons of carbon dioxide. Okay, so yellow is indicating 2015. This one, this one, this one. Fine. Now, rank 1 is given to China. Cumulative emissions. China is number 1. United Nations number 2. Russia 3. India is in 4th position in cumulative emissions since 1990. So this order will become very, very important for prelims. Fine, mark this up. First is China, United States, Russia, India, Japan and Germany. Fine. So once again we will revise this Conference of Parties. Conference of Parties 3rd meeting 1997, Kyoto. You all know this is very important for common but differentiated responsibilities concept. And COP8 was in 2002. It was in New Delhi. And COP15 2009, Copenhagen Summit. COP21, Conference of Parties 21, was in the year 2015 and it is also known as the Paris Summit. And COP23, it is not 23, 28. It is being held in UAE, United Arab Emirates. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Arrange the following countries in terms of their total carbon emissions in descending order for the year 2022. Okay, we have seen the cumulative carbon emissions from 1990 to 2021. Okay, here the question is about 2022. Here in 2022 also, China is the leading producer of greenhouse gases. Alright, so it should be in the first position. So D is gone, B is gone. Now second position is given to USA. Okay, it is already there. So both of them have USA in the second position. So you do not need to think. Now India. India is in third position. So A is the answer. Okay. Now, the common carbon metric supported by UNEP has been developed for. Metric, in common sense or common man's language, metric means measurement. Okay. Now, going by this word, we'll assess the options. Assessing the carbon footprint of building operations around the world. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Now, what is carbon footprint? It is the total amount of greenhouse gases that are generated by our actions. That is carbon footprint. Okay, and measuring that is the common carbon metric is one method. Okay, so A is correct. Next, sovereign green bonds offer NRIs credit risk-free returns for long term. Now, basic, you should know what are green bonds. Bonds which are in green color? No. These are debt instruments with which capital is being raised to fund green projects. Green projects. Now, what are green projects? Projects which have green color? No. Green projects means environmentally friendly projects. All right. What is the context? The Reserve Bank of India has allowed non-resident Indians to invest in the government's sovereign green bonds issued for 2023 and 2024. The sovereign green bonds are used to fund environmental projects. Okay, to tap growing environmental consciousness within and outside India, the government issues the sovereign green bonds to mobilize resources for green infrastructure and to reduce the economy's carbon intensity. So, this is the purpose. Now, what are the features of these sovereign green bonds? 1. They are like regular central government bonds. 2. Interest will be paid twice a year at a fixed rate. 3. Bond issuers will enjoy a greenium. Now, what is greenium? This can be a standalone question too. Greenium is green premium. It refers to pricing benefits based on the logic that investors are willing to pay extra or accept lower yields in exchange of sustainable impact. Okay, so that is green premium or greenium. Please remember this term. And this sovereign green bonds, they offer a little less yield than the non-green sovereign bonds. That is the fourth feature. Okay, and how about interest? Interest earned is categorized as income. Is it taxable? Yes. Okay, interest from these bonds is categorized as income from other sources and is taxed at the investor's income tax slab rate. Okay, so these are some basics. Now, we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements with regard to sovereign green bonds. Non-resident Indians can invest in sovereign green bonds. Yes, that is the context of the article also, right? Interest earned on these bonds will be tax-free. No. One of the features we have seen, right, that the interest will be considered as a tax from other sources and is taxed at the investor's income tax slab rate. Okay, so this is wrong. They can be sold in the secondary market or can be used as a collateral to borrow funds. Now, what is the secondary market? See, there is primary market and there is secondary market. Primary market is a market where there will be fresh issue of shares. And the secondary market means the previously issued securities are brought here and they are traded, sold. Okay, so this is secondary market. So, this is also true. So, 1 and 3 are true. So, 2 statements are true. Okay. Now, consider the following statements regarding green bonds. Sometimes in the news, green bond is an environmental bond that channels debt capital for projects with environmental benefits. Yes, this is correct. We just saw in the basics part, green bonds are issued by multilateral agencies such as World Bank, corporations, governments, agencies and municipalities. Yes. Which of the following statements given above are not correct? Oh my god, see this? Not correct. So, be very careful with this trap. So, 1 and 2 are correct, not correct, it will be D. Fine. Now, just in time release of central funds soon. Now, we will get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements. Central government and state governments in India can issue T-bills and dated securities. T-bills, they are treasury bills and they can be issued only by central government, not the state governments. Now, what are T-bills? Some basics. See, RBI issues them on behalf of central government. Okay. When the government needs money for a short period of time, then they will issue T-bills. And the tenure for T-bills will be 91 days, 182 days, 364 days, that is less than 1 year. And it is issued only by central government. This one will not be issued by the state government. And RBI issues on behalf of the central government. Remember this. So, one is gone. Currently, states are the final issuers of funds to development agencies for centrally sponsored schemes. This is correct. 2 is correct. So, B is right. Okay. Now, Indian government bond yields are influenced by which of the following? Actions of the United States Federal Reserve? Yes, because if there is increased interest rates, then money from the emerging markets will flow out from their country to this country, no? So, one is correct. B and C are gone. Actions of the Reserve Bank of India? Yes. If the bank, United States Federal Reserve Bank, which is not in India, itself is influencing our bond yields, then why not the federal bank which is there in India, that is our federal bank, Reserve Bank of India, that it will compulsorily have effect, right? So, 1 and 2 are correct. Inflation and short-term interest rates? Yes. So, 1, 2, 3, all of them are correct. Yeah. Sand and dust storms are increasing. Human activities contribute to 25% of the emissions, says UNCCD. Now, what is UNCCD? It is United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. This is very, very important. So, we will see some basics about UNCCD in prelims perspective. Okay. So, it was in place in the year 1994. Its headquarters is in Germany, Bonn. It is legally binding, and it is the only convention stemming from Agenda 21. Now, what is Agenda 21? It is a product of Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in the year 1992. Okay. So, it is also known as, this Earth Summit is also known as UN Conference on Environment and Development. So, these are some basics. And the year 2006 was declared as International Year of Deserts and Desertification. And this UNCCD also releases a report, that is Global Land Outlook Report. This is also important. Land for Life program is also UNCCD's initiative. So, these are some basics you have to remember, right? Now, consider the following statements. Human activities contribute 25% of the global dust emissions, with agriculture being the main anthropogenic source. Yes, this 25% is already given here, right? 25%. So, this is correct. And Asian continent has the largest area under the drylands. No, even if you use common sense, you will, if you just close your eyes and observe the map, Africa is there, no? It has lot of dryland, like 66% of Africa is like that. Fine. And so this is wrong. Second statement is wrong. Jharkhand has the largest desertified area in India. Yes, this is correct. Usually we think it will be Rajasthan, but no, it is Jharkhand. Oh, okay, so 2 statements are correct. Which of the following statements are correct? India is a signatory to United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. Yes, it is. Ministry of Home Affairs is the nodal ministry in the government for the UNCCD. No, this is not Ministry of Home Affairs. See, use common sense. Why will the Home Affairs Ministry will come into this desertification thing? Unless and until it should have some subtle link. Here, there is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So, this is the nodal agency. So, this is wrong. A is correct. Alright. Next. Nearly a billion children globally exposed to extremely high water stress, says UNICEF report. What is UNICEF? It is United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. And It was established in the year 1946 in New York. So this 3 points are some basics about UNICEF. Yeah. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Child Climate Risk Index (C.A.R.E) is released by which one of the following organizations? It is United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. Alright, so C is the answer. Consider the following statements. 21st February has been declared to be the International Mother Language Day by UNICEF. No, not UNICEF. See, UNICEF mostly it deals with children. This language, culture, World Heritage Sites, they are dealt by UNESCO. Okay, so one is wrong. The demand that Bangla has to be one of the national languages was raised in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan. This is true. So 2 is the correct answer for this one. See, this question was given 2021 and this exactly coincides with the 50-year celebrations of Bangladesh Liberation War. Okay, it was in 1971, right? 1971 to 2021. So 5 years, 10 years, 50 and 100-year celebrations are very important themes for the prelims. All right. This is it for today. All the best.